Good evening, everyone. Finally back after a really long hiatus. Let me tell you, 2 kids under 2 years old is no joke. Things are finally starting to even out. I'm going to try and get back to shooting more video and putting out more content. Could partially be due to the fact that the last video I uploaded back in May with the heavyweight 4570, the beginning of October had less than 800 views, and here I am 18 days later, and it's coming up on 50,000, probably more by the time I get this edited and uploaded. So no matter the reason for that video blowing up, I'm just glad because it's given me a lot of motivation to get the camera back out and put out some more content. I've got some old footage that I shot back February this year. The smallest caliber and the lightest weight bullet that I have personally reloaded to date. But don't worry, I know it's kind of weird to go from the biggest, heaviest bullet I've reloaded all the way down to the smallest one. Kind of counterproductive, right? But if you stick through this one, and I hope you enjoy it, I'll show you a sneak preview of something I picked up this year. It's not going to be any heavier than the 600 grain bullet, but it is the biggest caliber I have so far. So these are the components I'm using this evening. CCI standard small rifle primers. I like accurate powders, so I picked up a jug of 2230 this week. And these are Vedrog 55 grain full metal jacket. Well, I'm really happy with the results I got in that ladder test. I'm going to choose 25 grains to keep it right around that 2,800 feet per second mark. None of those rounds were crimped, so the top two charges had a spread of about 75 feet per second between the max and minimum velocities. So I'm going to do some crimp testing and see if I can't tighten those up a little bit. So I went ahead and loaded 16 rounds with 25 grains of accurate 2230, and I'm doing them in groups of 4, and I'm going to do a light crimp up to what I would consider a fairly heavy crimp and see how they respond and see if we can't tighten those up a little bit. So my process here, I made 4 reference marks on the body of my press, and I made 1 mark on the crimping die. I run 4 rounds through at setting number 1, rotate the crimping die in a little bit, run the next 4 through, so on and so forth. And I'm going to speed up this footage now. There's not really anything worth seeing. I won't sugarcoat it. This test failed miserably. Nothing changed. I still had between 75 and 100 feet per second. The first setting, I was letting my wife shoot, and they weren't quite right over the chronograph, so I didn't get a single reading. And the remaining ones, same thing, nothing changed. I believe this is mostly in part accurate 2230 is a fine ball powder, and with all that extra space in the brass, things fluctuate, velocity goes up and down. If I tried a extruded stick powder, say BLC2 or Varget, something like that, I'm sure I could get these tightened up, but I just wanted to see if anything would happen. Being a short barrel weekend gun for my wife, it's not a big deal, so I'm just going to leave them be. If you're still watching, I appreciate hanging out with me. As promised, here's the new caliber I picked up this year. Actually, I didn't pick it up. My wife bought it. I think she got tired of hearing me talk about it. I'm kind of lucky. So, it's completely unrealistic and impractical on all levels, but you have to love a Desert Eagle chambered in 50 AE. I've wanted one of these since I was a kid playing Counter-Strike. So this is the aluminum frame, makes it about a pound lighter than the others. Stainless steel slide, integrated muzzle brake. And believe me when I say this thing is so much fun. I don't mean scary. I don't mean it's going to throw the gun out of your hands with the recoil. I mean tons of fun. That's coming from a guy who is 5'6", 175 pounds. Look at the size of this thing. It's awesome. So, if you want to see what happens when I put some rounds through this, come back next time. I look forward to seeing you.